In a major boost to India's green mobility sector, Routematic, a commute automation platform, it has secured $40 million in funding. Investment comes from Fullerton Carbon Action Fund. It is aimed at accelerating companies' mission to provide sustainable and tech-driven transportation solutions for the corporate sector. Now, with this funding, the company plans to scale its operations and push further into low-emission and electric vehicle fleets. And today we are joined by Sri Ram Kannan, founder and CEO, Routematic. Thank you, Mr. Kannan, for joining us. Let's first start by asking you, this money, where do you plan to use it? What is the purpose?
Hello. So thank you for having me on this show, Sumit. Yes, we have raised a round from Fullerton and Shift for Good. The primary use for this would be in scaling up our ROCs, Routematic Operations and Command Centers, as we call them, across cities. So we are seeing a trend of this whole corporate transport going out of privately being managed to centrally being managed by outfits such as us who bring expertise in both technology and operations and having workflows and controls to be able to achieve something like that. So primarily, we are going to be scaling up our operations center capacity along with a significant investment into EV cars being added to our fleet of cars. So that's primarily where we are looking at deployment of funds.
And Mr. Kannan, if you can tell us a bit details about how did you plan, how did you raise these funds, and moving forward, if what is the need for overall funding that you are looking for?
Yeah, so we are a fairly mature outfit. We are into our 13th year now. We have been in this industry for 12 years. We started with a technology offer so that large corporates can plan their corporate commute. In 2018, we also started this whole fleet operations where our single point agenda was to improve efficiency both for the driver side and for the demand side, which is the corporates. We have worked a lot on AI-enabled technology that helps us improve the income of the driver. So if you see in transportation in general, there is the demand side, supply side, of course. But the focus is either only on demand or only on supply side. Increase the number of cars, increase the number of trips. But the common denominator for all of this is how much of an income is the driver making at the end of the day. That brings stickiness on the supply side. So we have worked on AI technology enabled tools and processes in our overall offering, where we are able to dispatch cars autonomously for corporates, which gives 100% compliance, very good on-time performance, but also maximizing the income for the driver. So we have a unique model of payout where we are guaranteeing driver based on the time they put into the system, right? We are able to deliver guarantees at the monthly level and so on. And we are seeing our drivers make the maximum net income than any other platform available in India today. And we are able to achieve this through tech, purely through tech and operational muscle that we bring. So that's basically where we are at. And corporates are also setting up a natural base for sustainable transport because of the nature of corporate transport in general, which is highly repetitive. Patterns are kind of known. Of course, they are not exactly the same like in pre-COVID days, but the lot of dynamism also brings in the application of technology, especially the prediction mechanisms of AI to the forefront, that we are able to happily rotate the available time of a car and maximize the usage of cars and minimize the total count, that we are able to do it through tech. So that's basically where we are doing most of the work on technology and bringing ops together.
Mr. Kannan, if you can talk to viewers about your USP, which part of the overall technology sphere you are working on, and also let's touch upon a subject like Blue Smart. We recently saw a bad overall episode with Blue Smart. Their founders were involved in that. How does it impact the overall sector?
So Blue Smart was on the B2C side of things. So what we do is actually, it may look like similar, but we actually do not do anything similar. We are in the corporate segment. We talk about guarantees all the time, right? Both on the demand volume side as well as on the supply aggregation side. So I wouldn't be able to comment on how B2C segment is performing, like I said, other than the fact that we have cars and drivers on the platform, nothing else is common because B2C goes through a very different cycle of predictions, etc. But at the end of the day, fundamental to any business naturally is the unit economics that you have to put at the center of things. So we have always looked at efficiency. We turned EBITDA profitable way back in 23, Jan of 23, and we have been there ever since and only increasing our efficiency with more volumes, right? Like I said, B2B is all about guarantees that is driven to both the demand side and the supply side. And we are the man in the middle able to rotate very efficiently, with profits at the center. That's the way we have been operating. Parallel businesses in the B2C segment, that is something quite different from how we operate. So I wouldn't be able to comment too much on that. But like I said, summary, fundamental to any business is the unit economic that should be built from day one. Yes, there is an intermittent path to profitability, which took about 2 years to get there. We were leaking money as the volumes were low. The fundamentals were not bad. It is just that the volumes were low for some time and we were footing the bill with investor money. But right now we are at a stage where we are fairly comfortable and our margin profile is quite significantly higher than market trends simply through the application of tech and having a fantastic team to back it.
Mr. Kannan, help our viewers understand how different are you from other players in this whole sector. What is your USP?
Yeah, so the USP is the following, right? There are companies which are either demand responsive or supply responsive. What I mean by that is any company other than Routematic that you would see are floating a lot of cars in the market by aggregating them and looking for demand. We do it, and there are other demand planning companies which don't do a good job of supply. So where we have filled the gap is being able to equally well handle both sides with tech. So we are able to reduce the number of trips for our for the corporates on our platform through fantastic route planning technology that we boast about, and hence the name Routematic. So routing basically is how do you bring, let's say, 1,000 people to an office on time by using the least cost, but being able to pull them into vehicles and the fleet mix choice. So that helps with the reduction of trips. And the supply side is how do you handle these trips with the least number of cars and maximizing therefore thereby the income of the driver per hour spent, right? So this coming together of demand and supply on a single platform, I don't think has ever been attended. So this is in general called DRP, demand responsive transit, where we are planning, we are acquiring demand and we are designing just the right amount of supply to the effect that the margin profile is at its highest, right? So that's basically our USP, bringing demand route planning and supply dispatch come together. I usually comment with my team that we are in the business of R&D, right? Research and development, but rather routing and dispatch. So that's basically what we are looking at. That's our USP, bringing both the innovative AI ideas into, tools into the application into both routing and dispatch. That's basically where we are at.
Well, that's a good way to put it. Routing and dispatch, then it is also R&D. You're right over there. But apart from working in India, do you have plan to expand overseas?
Yeah, so there are a few implementations already in progress. I wouldn't be able to comment on that because they are still work in progress. But let me tell you that India, especially just the 5 cities, are lucrative enough for us, right? While we may look for expansion abroad and there are interesting opportunities outside, let me tell you that the opportunity just in India, especially the top 5 cities. So I'm counting Bangalore, NCR, Delhi NCR, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Pune as the 5 cities. There is enough demand for something like this just in these 5 cities that it's in the multiple billion-dollar range. But yes, international expansion is interesting, but our laser focus will be on the Indian market for now, at least especially for the next 1 to 2 years.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kannan, for joining us this evening and telling us about your plans of raising money, how much you raised, and what are its uses. This is time to take a break on Startup Central. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back with more interesting stories from the world of startups and entrepreneurship.